Hi everybody, I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how I did my makeup for Rosie from Animal Crossing, which I actually wore on stream on the day Animal Crossing New Horizons came out. I am wearing a wig with this outfit, so I'm going to go ahead and put on my wig cap first. If you have long hair, make sure to tie it back, but because my hair is so short, I just sort of like throw it on. I'm starting off with my eyes today. So I'm taking the eyeshadow primer. This is by Milani. I really like it. It works really well. And I'm taking a pea-sized amount on each of my eyelids and tapping it in gently. For eyeshadow, I'm going to be using these top two shadows on the left. They are by Colourpop. They don't make these anymore. The lighter one is called Tiny Tangerines and the more blue one is called Two Piece. They have similar shades though, so even if you don't get these exact ones, you can find something similar. I'm taking Tiny Tangerines, the lighter one, and packing it on the inner half of my eyelid. These build up really well and these are nice and shiny. They look really pretty in the light. I like them a lot. So once you pack it on, gently drag it out to the center. Then clean off the flat end of your brush. Go in with the darker blue shade. This one's my favorite. It is super pretty. And this is going to cover the outer half of the eye. And I start from the outermost part because that's where I want the most color. And then I gently pat and drag it towards the center, overlapping with the lighter color to blend them together. Then I'm going to go into my NYX Ultimate Eyeshadow Palette and go in with the whatever shade that's called. I don't know, it's the matte blue. And I'm not actually going to use a lot of this. I'm just going to put some of this into my crease. Sort of blend out that edge. Mostly just to get some color in my crease without being super messy. And then I'm going to drag it outward, almost like creating a cat eye shape. But it's going to be a little bit messier. And of course, do the same to the other eye. We're trying to go for symmetry here. Trying is the key word. And then I'm going to go back into the darker blue, the two-piece shade, and I'm going to put that back into the outer part of the crease to sort of darken that some more. Not going too heavy, but I wanted a little bit more dark blue there. So this is why I did the eyes first. It's a little bit messy, so now we're going to clean that up. Take some makeup remover on a Q-tip. I used the Garnier Micellar water because it's very gentle, and clean up underneath the eye and then on the outer corner to make that nice crisp line. It already looks a lot better. Now, onto the face. Make sure your face is already washed and moisturized. We're gonna go in with primer first. I'm using the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I'm really enjoying it. It definitely does reduce the appearance of pores, mostly on my cheeks is what I've observed. So I'm taking a little bit on 2 fingers at a time and gently patting it into my cheeks, around my nose, and up my forehead. Onto foundation. Take your foundation of choice. I am using the CYO Long Lasting Lifeproof foundation because I am determined to use up what I have. It is going away forever. Rest in peace, CYO. and I'm using a knockoff beauty blender. This is the Eco Tools blending sponge, and gently blend it into the rest of your face using patting motions. You could also use a brush for this, but like I've said in previous videos and on streams and stuff, brushes just don't work very well on my skin. They exaggerate texture, and the sponge with this leaves a really pretty finish. Now to concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer that everybody used to rave about. I'm still using this one up. It is super full coverage, so I mostly use it for acne and scars on my face and whatnot. And I like to initially blend this in with my finger, especially on discolored parts of my face. And then I go in with the Beauty Blender. Oh, sorry, the Eco Tools blending sponge. They're all the same thing. And I only use the smallest amount of the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer under my eyes. I also typically only use this for cosplay looks and not really in my day-to-day life because it looks a little unnatural, but I do like it for cosplay. Very carefully blend it under your eyes, and you can also use this to make the shape of your eyeshadow more clean. Doesn't it look so much better? Now going in with powder, I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me Pressed Powder in the set version, which is better for normal to dry skin. And I initially, when applying this, will pat it into my skin and then gently brush it downwards. And because I want this makeup to last, because this is cosplay makeup, I'm not necessarily going for a super natural look. I am putting it all over my face. I actually use a smaller targeted brush for under the eyes though. Also make sure to be very gentle in that area. And don't poke your eye out. Next up is blush. I'm using one by Loreal. This is in their True Match version. This is the lightest cool shade. You definitely want to go with a more cooler toned pink in my opinion for Rosie. And I'm also going ham on the blush for this. Because, you know, Rosie, she's got the rosy cheeks. This isn't particularly natural, but I'm going all in. I spent a lot of time, like a serious amount of time, adding more and more blush. So if you're not used to that, you're going to be like, whoa, my face is really red. But it'll look fine once you put the wig on, I promise. But I'm not gonna lie, I do actually like the super flushed cheeks. Then going in with contour, I'm using the Makeup Geek Contour Powder in Breakup. I don't think they make this anymore, and Makeup Geek just did like a huge rebrand, but I do really like the tone of this contour powder. I take an angled brush and I squeeze it initially to dip into the powder, and then I let it go as I gently blend it onto my face. I also typically do either no contour or very little contour in my day-to-day life, but for cosplay I tend to keep it a little bit darker because I've found that if I blend it too much or don't use enough pigment, then when I have a wig on you can't really tell at all, like, why did I spend all that time doing contour? I do also add some to my nose, specifically for Rosie in this case, because I wanted to make my nose a little bit more defined and prominent. We will be adding more makeup to the nose later though, don't you worry. Get a cute little cat nose later. Then of course highlight. I don't go too heavy on the highlight because I put on so much blush, and that blush was a little bit shiny looking, but I'm gonna apply a little bit of this highlighter by Luna onto my nose and also the highest point of my cheekbones, but of course not too much. Going back to my eyes, I'm using this CoverGirl Quad. I don't know exactly what this eyeshadow palette is called, but the highlighter shade is my favorite shade in that palette. I'm going to apply that to the very inner part of my eyes to lighten that part up a little bit more, add some more dimension. We're going from a very light corner to a much more darker blue at the outer part of the eye. Now we're getting into eyeliners. Take a white eyeliner pencil. I'm using one by NYX, and I'm putting this all throughout my waterline. Make sure to be gentle. Next, I'm taking another eyeliner pencil. This one is in a light blue. It's sort of metallic too. Also by NYX, and I'm going to put that in the outer part of my waterline for a little bit of added definition. Now the main eyeliner. Take a liquid eyeliner of your choice. I've been using the NYX Epic Ink for as long as I can remember, a few years now maybe, ever since it first came out. And I'm going to be making a winged eyeliner, almost like a cat eye look, because, you know, Rosie's a cat. I also struggle to do eyeliner without having my elbow supported by a desk. So I ended up completing the eyeliner look off camera. And of course I did do the eyeliner for the other eye, of course. What do you take me for? Now moving on to lips for a hot second, I'm using a lip liner from NYX. This is in Nude Pink. It's actually the same lip liner that I used in my Splatoon makeup tutorial, if you remember that. And I'm going to fill in the bottom lip. We're not touching my top lip yet. You want to start by outlining it and then filling it in. Then we're going to take that blue eyeliner pencil yet again. This is again by NYX, and I'm going to be coloring in my eyebrows with this. It's a pretty soft eyeliner, so you don't have to apply too much pressure. If you don't have this, you could also use a white eyeshadow base and then go on top of that with a light blue eyeshadow. I have used that in the past and it does work. Sometimes it takes a little bit of extra time, but it does work. Then I want to melt the powders together. So I'm going to take this MAC Fix Plus setting spray and spray it on my face. Fan myself to pretend I'm going to make it dry faster. And then once it is dried, I'm moving on to this torturous device called an eyelash curler. My eyelashes actually aren't very long, so this isn't super helpful for me, but I try to do it in the hopes that it does actually curl my eyelashes a little bit. Then moving on to the mascara. This is by Marc Jacobs. It is just a sample that I happen to have lying around. You know how mascara works. You want to very carefully brush it onto your eyelashes. I start from the outer part and then work my way inward. And I'm focusing most of the product on the outer part of my eyelashes and also the center. There you can see the difference. I also added a little bit of mascara to my bottom lashes. Now moving on to the nose. We're gonna make the cute little triangle cat nose. Even though Rosie doesn't technically have a nose or whiskers depicted, I thought it looked weird without them. So you wanna very carefully, you can tell that I was a little scared doing this, draw a little triangle at the tip of your nose. You wanna do the outline first because you can always make it a little bit bigger, which I did actually end up doing off camera, because I needed a steadier arm. Once the nose is finished, you can move on to making the whiskers. I do 3 whiskers on each side, starting with the center one, and then I do the top and then the bottom. Take your time with this. You can mess it up, and it is a little bit annoying to have to wash off and redo a bunch of steps on your cheeks, so take your time, be careful. Ta-da! Going back to the lips, take a light pink lip gloss. This is the NYX Butter Gloss Lips in Eclair, and again, this is only going on the bottom lip. Now to finish it off and finally do something to the upper lip. On a liner brush, take a little bit of black liquid lipstick. This is the Sephora Lip Creams in the black shade. Carefully line the upper part of your top lip, and then once the line is done, you want to start slowly filling in the rest of your top lip. I started from the top and went down because that was easiest for me. And there we have it. This is Rosie with the wig on. I love it. I think this is adorable. I love what I did to the wig. We got some cat ears. Thank you all so much for watching. I've really loved playing Animal Crossing New Horizons. Thanks again and have a great day.